All right, Gotham Knights. I believe that this game is heavily underrated and overly hated by the community, and I get that the Arkham series was groundbreaking, but things like amazing games back to back is very, very rare. But that does not mean Gotham Knights is a terrible game by any means. I believe most of the criticism is unfounded, and most people that have not played the game are saying that it's bad from the trailers and IGN critiques, which I urge you not to listen to the IGN critiques. I mean, if we're being serious right now, like read some of their critiques on some of the most amazing games on day one. They are terrible. I'm not saying Gotham Knights is amazing by any means. With the combat and traversal, they're obviously downgrades from Arkham, but if we're being serious right now, WB was trying to reinvent something that was perfect with the counter and free flow combat, and they ended up borrowing heavily from Spider-Man PS4 in the end. But it doesn't really work with their style and what they were trying to pull off with the combat. But some of the great things about Gotham Knights is the story, the map, and characters. The map itself is bigger than City, Asylum, Origins, and possibly even Night combined, and it's very ambitious. I love the case files. They're awesome. You can easily add more to those as DLC packages, and I'd easily buy them. The Clayface is my favorite, even though it is the shortest. Second to Mister Freeze, and Harley Quinn was, I don't know. I didn't personally like it, but I've heard a lot of people say it's one of their favorites. And personally, I don't think so. I didn't like Harley as a main villain. Honestly, she's more of a sympathetic character that's controlled by the Joker, and I didn't like her as a main villain. But and the characters having their individual stories, like Robin has a story about with symbolizing Batman with chess with Alfred. There's a beginning and an end to that. You see it with marked with their logos, and Nightwing and Red Hood have a combined one, which is very catharsis. I felt very catharsisized at the end of that. It was very good. And Batgirl's with her father, and I can't remembering his face, was very powerful. A lot of people found it that way because they've had similar experiences, but I think those were strong, strong aspects of the game. And getting into the main story, the Court of Owls being the main antagonist was an absolute fucking sham, by the way, because they are not, spoiler alert, they are not the main fucking villain for this story. It turns out that the League of Shadows is, and in all the marketing, it was the Court of Owls. I'm like, this is completely different than they marketed, which is another flaw to the game. But the Court of Owls being in the game was very cool with Kirk Langstrom not turning out to be Man Bat and kind of adopting the New 52 where it was a bunch of different man bats, and you could have mini bosses across the map on buildings, tall buildings with the League of Shadows. I do think that Talia bringing back Bruce Wayne was also another flaw, just because you bring back Bruce Wayne for about 10 minutes and he kills himself again. So that was a weird way to go. And I like the progression of the watchtower or whatever the hell you want to call it. I forgot, but the clock tower. And it reminds me of Assassin's Creed 3 with the homestead and all that stuff. I love that. It's one of my favorite aspects of a lot of games. And the open world crimes are very good. You don't get the same ones every night because you miss out on them if you leave. And if you don't complete all the crimes, you really won't have any to do the next night, and you're forced to do the main story or even do click batarangs and papers around the map. And so those were very tedious. I got the platinum trophy, by the way, and Jesus Christ, those were the most tedious of them all. And to get New Game Plus, there's new stuff in New Game Plus. You get higher levels. The gear system, in my opinion, I loved because I mastered it very quickly. A lot of people don't really get the RPG thing, and I get it. It's a little hard to pick up. I mean, not for me, but I could see how it could be. But I loved it, and the whole game being how it was and being it overly criticized, in my opinion, was unfair. And just because Arkham is better doesn't mean this game is bad in any way, shape, or form. And if you are wondering what I gave the Arkham series individually, I gave Asylum a 8.9, which is very good. I loved Asylum. I played that game when I was like 12 years old. I beat that shit. It was so good. That was the first game I ever beat. I gave City a 10 out of 10. Obviously the best Arkham game. I get how some people don't agree, but you have to. I mean, it's the best Arkham game. I gave Origins a 7.5. Still one of the good ones. I mean, I liked it, but same map as City, you could tell. I liked the Penguin. I liked all that stuff. Deathstroke's boss battle was fabulous. I love that. And then Knight, unpopular opinion again, least favorite, probably a 7.5 again, tied with Origins. I didn't like it very much with the Batmobile, and you can see Jason coming from a mile away. But now that we got that out of the way, I would give Gotham Knights a 7.5 to an 8. And I do agree with that. A lot of people won't, and I get that. But you have to really put Arkham out of your mind to play this game. And I do like the story a lot. The only really downfalls are the traversal and the combat, which could be overlooked. But the bat cycle is a lot better, and I love it. And I get that, by the way, don't get Robin's traversal. It's easier to grapple around. Robin's traversal ability is horrendous. It's so slow. I hope they fix it in the future. But this game could go on to be better with DLC to come, and I really truly believe that. But yes, this game is a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10 in my opinion, and I would like to hear what you have to say in the comments down below.